Hello, welcome. Whoa, I'm a little warm with this beautiful, sparkly boa. Not too itchy, Paul. Is yours itchy?
Yeah.
I bet Laurence Olivier didn't say, "This is itchy," when they stuck a hump on his back in Richard III.
I bet he did.
I bet he didn't.
I bet he did.
Oh.
He most certainly said, "What's that bloody
It's
hump
quite warm this morning.
I'm lovely and cool.
I'm not. I'm absolutely boiling hot.
Do you want a fan?
Oh, no, I think I'm having the male menopause, I tell ya. Welcome to our Christmas special.
Our Christmas chat!
Oh, gee. Oh, sorry. I nearly took the Lord's name in vain there.
You weren't expecting that. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. We hadn't rehearsed that. 'Tis a bit itchy, this, but
Did
hey.
we rehearse? God.
Well, we're here on our first festive Christmas
Do you want
special.
me to get you that envelope?
No, just don't worry about it. As long as I'm not looking like a sweat ball.
He is a little. Oh dear.
Oh. Yes, welcome. It's Richard and
Paul.
And this is our Christmas special. Not sure what's special about it, apart from the sparkles.
The Christmas. It's Christmas. It's special. It's Christmas special. It's Christmas chat!
Oh, Jesus. Mary Mother of God. Yes, we're here to, celebrate the festive season, even though we don't celebrate it.
No, but
normally.
we do have a few sparkly things.
We do have some sparkly things and decorations and things like that in stock. So we thought we'd get them out, drag them out of the cupboard screaming, including Rudolph,
Yeah, look.
who was given to us as a gift a few years ago.
Quite a few years ago.
The person who gave it to us knows who they are. Anyway, what are you doing today? Are you wrapping things? Are you opening things? Are you eating lots of chocolate and drinking lots of drink? We're not. We're just quietly celebrating in our usual style with a little chat. And we're not really sure what we're going to chat about, but we're going to just let the camera roll and let it flow. But we've got a few bits and pieces in store for you. So this is our Christmas special, comprising of elements like
Cooking.
gardening,
Cooking.
eating,
Cooking.
and gardening and chatting.
And cooking.
There's only 2 cookery segments,
So it's cooking and cooking.
but this is our feature-long special, jam-packed with lots of goodies for you to open on Christmas Day.
When's it going up?
Well, I don't know. We've no idea.
Yeah. You can open it
At
any
some
time.
point, this is our Christmas gift to you.
Right,
So,
what we
shall we
chatting
get on
about?
with it?
Yeah, absolutely. Get on with it. God, rumbling on.
No, I
there.
meant to get on with the first special bit.
Really? Okay. Yeah. What's our
So-
first special bit?
Well, the first special bit is all about cake.
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 Making cake, eating cake. Christmas things. Cake. So, without further ado, let us move through.
To our first segment. We're going to segue.
Segue into a segment.
Segue into a segment.
Yeah. So here we are. It's all about cake. And this is the cookery bit of our Christmas special. Yes. And we're focusing on cake.
Cake.
Yes, one of our favourite things. And we don't do Christmas cakes.
No. Or puddings.
Well, we've occasionally had a small pudding.
Yeah,
haven't
we've
we?
never made them yet.
No, because to be honest, too much faff.
Well, I haven't had time.
Well, it's too much faff.
Oh, yeah.
Making a Christmas cake.
When we're in
Weeks.
our homestead. When we're in our homestead,
Really?
we will do that.
Oh, you might, I'm not.
Well, I will. Yeah, you won't.
Far too lengthy a process, but But Paul's mum used to tell us about a cake that she used to make.
She makes.
Well, she hasn't made it for a while, has she?
Not for about 6 months, no.
No. And we thought it would be a good idea to do this cake as a quick Christmas cake.
Yeah, because it's a fruitcake. It's a heavy fruitcake.
Paul, what's it called?
It's called boiled fruitcake.
Boiled. Not bald.
No,
Boiled. Fruitcake. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. A boiled cake. What next?
But it does get baked. It's not actually boiled.
So, Paul, tell us what it's all about and how did this happen? A boiled cake from Guernsey?
Well, it is from Guernsey because Mum used to make it. But actually, it's an old recipe that has been handed down for many years, in fact generations, in the UK. And it, Mum has always done it from a cookery book called Cheshire Home Cookery Book in Guernsey, the Cheshire Home's charity in Guernsey. And she's always done it from that. We were looking at doing the boiled cake and then went off, didn't we, to do some shopping. Popped into a charity shop and lo and behold,
there was the book.
There was the book.
So I bought it.
So it was a huge
and the first thing I looked for was boiled cake. Because we'd just been talking about it at home with Mum.
Yeah, we had.
We?
Absolutely.
What a coincidence.
So we bought that and we obviously brought it back and that's what we're going to do. And
yes.
It's odd in that you put everything apart from the flour and eggs into a saucepan and bring them up to the boil and then cook it through and leave it for anything from a couple of hours to overnight, and then you finish it off after that by adding the flour and the eggs into the mix and then putting it into a cake tin and baking it.
Well, really, it's not that unusual because actually it's a melting method.
Yeah, it's a melting method.
It's the melting method.
Yeah.
And the melting method, for those of you who don't know what it is when you melt fat and add sugars and other ingredients to make a sort of dessert type
Melted
dish.
thing.
Yes, the melting method would be used to make things like butterscotch,
Fudge.
flapjacks, fudge, things like that,
Toffee.
where you're melting ingredients together. It's a little bit like a melting method, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I suppose it is.
Yeah.
I suppose it is. He was the one that did cookery at school. We didn't do cookery at school.
Yes, I know all the methods.
Yeah, I don't. I learnt everything from
You had
Mum,
to prove...
but we didn't have cookery at school.
Well, we did food and nutrition, O-level, and you had to learn all the methods, and you then had to prove that you knew all those methods in your practical exam. And you had to include something like, 7 of the methods in the exam, in your meal plan that you had to put together for your practical exam. You had to do a whole range of dishes and plan it all beforehand.
How fascinating.
It was good to learn because timing is key with cookery.
As we found out when we were grilling something earlier, didn't we?
Did we?
When I was grilling some buns yesterday. But there we are.
Yes.
Anyway, we're going to get on and do the recipe
The
now.
boiled cake.
Boiled cake.
So here we are. So Paul, take us through the ingredients.
Butter, though obviously if you want to use a vegan alternative you can. That's 120 grams. 2 eggs, again, vegan alternative if you wish. This is mixed dried fruit and that's 500 grams. We've got 1 cup of milk. This is soya milk. We've got demerara sugar, that's 150 grams. A heaped dessert spoon of marmalade. A teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. Teaspoon of mixed spice and 200 grams of self-raising flour.
Great.
So pan here, just putting that onto a medium heat. We're going to add the butter in. And
just let that
melt down.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And this is organic butter, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, this one is, yeah. We try and get organic, though it's sort of quite, I found it quite difficult, and the price, we still have a milkman, and the price from the milkman has just rocketed.
Has it?
Yeah, it's gone from something like £1.79, £1.89 to about £2.39. Right, so that's melting down nicely now. And I add the sugar. Obviously, as we always say, my hands are clean.
Now, would you wait for it to dissolve? Because in the melting method, you just wait for the sugar to dissolve before you add anything else.
Well, it says bung everything in, so.
No, I know it does.
I mean, I'm not going to. I don't think I'm going to wait for it to melt.
Okay.
I'm going to wait for it to melt a little bit. I'm going to add my milk. Okay, and we'll put the spices in now. The marmalade, bicarbonate of soda and the spices. That's mixed spice. Oh, it's beginning to smell nice actually. Can you smell that?
I can't smell anything other than menthol sweets, which I've been sucking all morning.
See, I think the sugars doesn't feel as though there's any grains now.
Then you can probably put your fruit in now.
So, and then all the fruit in.
And this is a mixed dried fruit.
Yeah, it's just a bag of 500 grams of mixed dried fruit that I got. And then what this is going to do, we just need to cook it on bring it to the boil and then cook it on a simmer, stirring for 5 minutes. And obviously that will plumpen up all of the fruit that...
Plumpen? I don't think plumpen is a word.
Plump up.
Plumpen. I'm going to start calling you Plumpen. Okay.
Well, what is my nickname? What did they used to call me as a kid?
Pop.
Pop.
Because you looked like you were going to pop.
That is called pop.
Okay, so that's coming to the boil now. And we're going to simmer it for 5 minutes. Lovely. And we'll come back and look at that after 5 minutes. How long has it been, Paul?
So that's 5 minutes.
Of boiling.
Of a good rolling simmer. So we brought it to the boil, then put it onto a nice simmer.
So it's almost like the sugars have sort of melded with the fruits, and it's
I
become
actually
this
think
sort
it's
of...
what's happened is the sugar and the butter has sort of...
Well, it's caramelised.
Yeah, it's caramelised. It's gone to sort of
That's
like toffee.
right. It's gone like a gorgeous fruity caramel mixture. How interesting.
So the fruit is much plumper than it was previously.
Hold on, I can't... Let me just focus on that because I can't quite get a focus on that. There we are, that's better. Yeah, it has plumped. Lovely.
So now we're going to leave this just to cool down, turn the heat off. We're going to leave this to cool down, and we're going to leave it to cool down for at least 2 hours, though you could do it overnight. But we're going to do it for 2 hours
Okay.
And we're going to cover it with a clean tea towel.
Wow.
Rather than, because I want it to, if I put that on there,
It will keep the heat
it will
in.
keep the heat in, and I want
Okay.
the heat to escape.
So
So
clean tea towel.
Clean tea towel.
And it's got to cool because really we're adding eggs, aren't we?
Yeah, if
So
you add those eggs in,
they'll
just scramble.
Yeah.
at the
So
moment.
we'll have a look in a couple of hours. So how long has it been, Paul?
Well, it's been 2 hours.
Okay.
And it's barely warm now, actually. But as you can see, it's gone, obviously it's butter and sugar, so it's gone very thick now. So we're going to add the eggs, but we're also going to add a tablespoon of brandy because it's Christmas. So we're going to add that in.
Oh, that was more like a cup of brandy, Paul.
There we are.
Oh gosh, I can smell that. Oh, blimey.
Well, you can smell something then.
I can smell the brandy. That got through.
I can't smell that much. Then we're going to add the eggs. Remember, this is cool now.
Yeah,
So
it's not going to scramble the eggs.
no, break them up. Okay, that's well mixed in. Now we're going to add our flour. We have put the oven on, by the way, so the oven is heating
The oven's
up.
ready.
So just going to put.
I'd bung it all in if I were you.
Now I want to.
It's very white.
Okay, that's done. Sorry, back to the camera. Okay,
And that's the mixture.
that's the mixture.
You need to get those bits of flour in, Paul. Okay.
So here we've got the tin, so 8-inch tin, lined.
One of those spring-form tins, isn't it?
Yeah, it's spring form. So it's lined
Line
on
the
the
bottom.
bottom. So cut down the edges here so that it fits snugly. That goes inside those rings, and then we're going to.
You're on the edge of there. You don't want it to tip up.
What I want to do is get some in here and tip it like
We
that.
can't see what you're doing there, so...
Well, I can't do it the other way, so.
Oh well.
Right, so I'm putting some in, and
Well,
then
we can't see, so let's
and
hold
then
on. Sorry about the shadows there, people. So you're spreading it out on the bottom.
yeah, and I'm pushing it to make sure that the paper is as wide as it can be. Does that make sense?
Sort of.
Okay.
Okay, and then you're going to pour the rest in.
And then I'm going to pour the rest in.
Right,
So,
okay.
as I say, I can't do it the other way.
Oh well, you'll have to take our word for it that he's pouring the rest in. You can see it plopping in there.
Okay, and get a spatula. Then I want all the rest that is in here. In there.
Okay.
Clean fingers.
Oh, and don't you just know he just licked his finger?
Yeah.
Is raw egg
clear
in that?
fingers.
You need to mop that bit that's fallen there.
Bit.
Paper towel. Oh. Okay. Right.
Okay, so that's done now.
Let's have a look at it in there.
Little bang.
Sorry about the shadow, guys.
Make
Can't do
sure you
anything about
settle.
that. There we are. It's in there.
And then this is going to go into the oven.
Okay, is it ready to go in the oven now?
No.
Okay, so it's going to be going in the oven in a minute on 170.
170 fan for an hour.
Okay, great. So Paul, it's been how long cooking?
It's been an hour.
An hour, so let's have a look.
It's looking good.
Tis looking good. Wow.
So I think that's it now. We've already put a knife in.
Have you?
Well, I did.
Knife has come out clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that looks amazing.
So now we're going to let that cool in the tin. And then take it out.
Put it into a cake.
Yeah, we've got
holder.
a cake thing, haven't we? We'll take it out when it's cool. But yeah, pretty pleased with that.
So that's our quick Christmas cake.
Yeah.
Done.
Our festive special cake.
Great. Well, that's it, folks.
Are we going to put any brandy on it?
Well, we can pour brandy over it, can't we? But once it's cool. Because you don't want to do it while it's hot, because it will evaporate.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I'm really pleased with that.
There we go.
So thanks, Mum, for reminding us about that. And yeah.
Great. Okay, that's this segment over now. Oh, we hope you enjoyed that. And we hope we've given you a few little tips on how to make a quick Christmas cake if you haven't made one. If you were too lazy to make one.
Like we were.
Like we were. So we were thinking about, Christmases gone by, weren't we?
Yeah.
What was your favourite Christmas ever?
I don't know. I think they all sort of meld into one, really. We used to have, our Christmas Day, we used to have, like many people do, aunts and uncles and everyone around, and we used to have about 16 or 20 people in the house, including, kids and things. And it was always a lovely time. So we would open family presents in the morning on Christmas Day, and then it was sort of all manic after that with preparing for lunch, and there was sort of small table in the corner for the kids, and it was lots of sort of, it was just really, really busy.
Did you open all your presents in the morning?
We did. We didn't. I mean, some people...
So why did you make us open our presents throughout the day?
What, when we did presents?
Yeah.
Because I like doing that.
Oh, I thought that was because it was a family tradition.
No.
Well, I don't like doing that.
We always had something that we opened later on in the day.
Oh, so you did open something later in the day?
Yeah, we didn't open them every hour, but it was all... Yeah, I used to love the sort of the spirit of Christmas more than I actually loved the Christmas, if you see what I like. What I mean. It's all the people sort of being happy and smiley. Though, of course, as you get older, you realise that a lot of that hides a lot of stress and trauma that goes with it.
And I think that's why people drink a lot at Christmas as well, because it's an excuse to try and block out all of the rubbish that has gone during the year.
Yeah.
Really,
yeah.
I think it is, I mean, thinking back to how Christmases were, or this time of year, the solstice, how it must have been for ancient people. That's what I always like to think about, how there wasn't any electricity, there wasn't any kind of heating other than fire. It must have been a really difficult time of year, you know. The harvest is being eaten into, and you know, maybe it's wet and a lot of your crops have been damaged, and
you've got the hungry gap coming up.
you know, so
They had it even worse than us.
it must have been really stressful, and to see the light getting slowly darker and darker and wondering whether it's actually going to come back. You know, all of those feelings
Do you think
around
they
this
did
time of
think
year.
it might not come back?
Well, I think so. I think that's why the monuments were built, to ensure.
Yeah, but was that... I don't know. Was that more just we're going to do this because we're celebrating it and we're hoping for it, or do you think there were people who thought that? I suppose particularly with solar eclipses and things,
Well, people thought the sun was being eaten. Well, they didn't even know what the sun was, did they? In those days, they thought it was some kind of being. You know that. So it must have been a really strange time, and I guess, with it being the darkest time of year, you know, that's why people are trying to light up the dark days.
Yeah.
Although today is beautiful.
It is.
It's really sunny and quite mild.
Well, why is it called the Dark Ages that time? Is it...
Because
Doesn't
there
mean
was
it's
very
dark.
little written history, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's true. Yes. So it's dark in that way, yeah.
I guess.
Okay, yeah.
And it was dark
That
because
makes
it was a
sense.
very brutal time.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I suppose
Are we talking
so.
about the 1970s here?
Well, it was a brutal time, the 70s, although not for children.
Yeah.
For us kids, I mean, our Christmases were, you know, to be honest, I've got really nice memories of Christmases. It was, we were always given lots of little gifts, and very often one expensive gift. I mean, I say expensive, they weren't that expensive, but...
Well, they're mostly expensive.
But we had
for
ours
all
in a
the cost of that
pillowcase
thing.
at the end
Really?
of the bed.
Really?
Yeah, what would happen is Mum and Dad would put the pillowcase during the night at the end of our beds. So you woke up in the morning and you felt your toes at the end of the bed to see if the pillowcase was there.
You felt with your toes.
You felt with your toes,
Yeah.
You pushed your toes and then you knew that Father Christmas had been.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you knew Father Christmas
have
had
that.
been, and you were so excited you woke up at 4 a.m. and opened everything.
Did you have presents from your mum and dad as well?
No, they were all from Father Christmas, Paul. Presents from Mum and Dad?
We used to have presents.
No,
We
Mum and
used to
Dad
have-
didn't buy the presents. Father Christmas gets the presents.
We
Everybody
used
knows
to have
that.
Father Christmas presents, and
Did
we
you?
also had presents from mum and dad.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got good memories of Christmas.
Baby
It's-
sham.
Baby sham. We were given
Baby
alcohol as
sham.
children. We were given baby sham. I think they knew that we'd go crazy for an hour and then we'd all collapse.
I remember the
we
baby
did.
sham was in mum and dad's wardrobe cupboard on the floor in that little baby sham box.
The box
You got
holding
12.
6.
Well, we used to get
12.
12.
Well,
We used to get 12.
well, I'm sure we had
they
12
were-
too.
And I remember the joy of going in
And looking at
and seeing them there.
Did you go looking for presents?
No.
Oh, we did. We did.
I would shake. Our presents were always there, apart from the Father Christmas ones, who, of course, brought them down the chimney. We did have a chimney, so I thought that was fine
Well,
for
we
me.
didn't.
And but no, all our presents would be around the tree. I did rattle. I did
Oh, no.
rattle things.
You're right. Abuse the tinsel.
See what was inside.
No, Mum used to say, I hope you've not been rooting around for presents. And of course we had. And I remember one year I had a digital watch. And it was a really nice digital watch, multifunction digital watch.
As a present, you mean?
As a present. And I found it in advance. Yeah. So I knew exactly what I was getting. And you know what? It didn't take away the excitement.
You were still excited when
I
you
was still
opened it.
excited. Yeah, of course. It was a beautiful thing for a, 10-year-old or whatever I was at the time, around that sort of the height of 70s sci-fi mania. I wanted everything electronic.
What colour was it? Mine was red.
Oh, well, I had two. I had a Texas Instruments when I was quite young, and that was a tan with a red. You pressed button and the red
came up.
Digits came up. But this one was, I think it was a Casio, and it was sort of like a goldy silvery colour.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So there you go. So yeah, I mean, you know, I think it's nice to think about the Christmases when you were a child. It's the Christmases as an adult, which haven't been great. Many of them haven't been great. You know, when families, sadly our family was kind of split up due to separation. And, you know, you sort of found yourself in different places over a number of years.
What, you mean different homes?
Well, all sorts of different places, yeah. Right. So, you know, those years weren't great because you didn't have that stability of Christmas, that family home anchor, you know.
I think that is what, I mean, whether there's separation or, in my case, when I moved from Guernsey to London, I used to go home.
Yeah.
For Christmas. And in fact, when we first got together years ago...
We were separate, weren't we?
We would, I would go back to Guernsey and Richard would go back up north to family. And I'm not quite sure when we went, actually, we're going to have Christmas.
It was a few years, wasn't it?
It was I think it was about like 5 or 6 years. Yeah. And then we sort of went...
You know
and of course, it's sort of difficult doing... I know a lot of people do, but we'll go to, you know, that parent this year, we'll go to that parent that year, and then you've got also a separation, you know, where it's difficult,
isn't it? And we used to have that every year when we were kids, because it would be 1 year going to Granny and Grandad, my mum's parents, and then the following year we'd go to Grandma and Grandad, my dad's parents. And then it would be, are we going to somebody in the evening on Christmas Day?
Oh yeah, you do that, yeah.
And then we'd go somewhere else on Boxing Day. So it'd be like this sort of scrum of visits. And of course, I think when there's big families and people enjoy drinking and smoking, I think that the adults got off on that.
Yeah, yeah.
And the kids are giddy with excitement over their toys and whatever else. But it all becomes a little bit exhausting. And, you know, we kind of had that to a certain degree here, didn't we? A few years where there were parties going on and, oh, you're coming to us, and then you come to us, we'll go to you, and then there's a New Year's Eve party, and then there's a New Year's Day party, and then
also for me, because I was working in theatre and entertainment, my Christmases were the build up to Christmas, the October, November, sort of up to about the second week in December, were really full on.
Filled.
So we would have Christmas shows. I would be working marketing or doing PR, Christmas shows in the West End, or when the Hampton Court Palace Ice Rink, Tower of London Ice Rink, worked on 7 ice rinks 1 year, and each had a press night. There was lots of marketing to do. It was really, really busy. And then when it got to sort of Christmas, I sort of usually became ill, didn't I?
Yeah. Mind you, I mean, it is the time. I mean, you've got a little bit of a cold, haven't you now?
Yeah.
And I've still got this blooming thing filling my head. I've blown my nose so many times. Blown my nose so many times. I'm sore inside my nose. I have got horrible sore.
It's red inside. It's red raw inside his nose.
I hope it doesn't show on camera.
No.
Like Rudolph.
Rudolph's red nose.
Poor little Rudolph.
He does jingle. He's got jingle bells.
He's got jingle bells. Yeah. I'm not going to jingle him because he'll fall off. So, anyway, you know, thinking about Christmas past, we've thought about that. Christmas future. We're not saying we wouldn't ever properly celebrate Christmas with trees and things, but maybe when we're in our next home, because we are, as people know, looking for another house. If anybody's out there in Wales with a gorgeous house with lots of land to sell, get in touch with us.
You did see one the other day.
I did see one.
How many hectares?
I think it had 8 hectares, which
Yeah.
is around 20
acres. It just over
something,
20 acres.
21 acres. But it needed a lot of work. So, but we're still on the lookout. So maybe when we do that, and we've got maybe a little room to put people up, maybe we'll have people to ours for Christmas again.
Yeah.
But we have, I think the past few years have been difficult for us with having people because we've had poorly cats. The past quite a few years. In fact, going back to 2011.
Yeah.
We had poorly cats, and we didn't want to stress them, or have guests witnessing certain things that cats do when they're poorly.
Yeah.
So we kind of shied away
Especially
from it,
after
didn't we?
their big operations and things
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
So
And then, of course, in the last couple of years, Dad.
Yeah, we
So-
lost Dad. So
That was sort of
a bit of a
just
downer.
coming up to, well, that's 2 Christmases ago.
Yeah.
And then last year's Christmas Day was quite devastating.
Oh, we
because
lost a friend on Christmas Day.
We lost a really, really good friend on Christmas Day
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
So, and of course those days, things happening on those days that make those days much more poignant.
Yeah, and they're markers, aren't they?
Yeah. But life goes on.
Life
or we
goes
hope
on.
Life goes on. I think it's always worth remembering that when you are going through a challenging time, to remember another time that was challenging and the fact that
You got
you
through
got
it.
through that.
As they say, the moment will pass. So anyway, I think we need to move on to our next segment. Don't we?
Segue.
And also, I hope you like our Christmassy environment that we can change like that. Isn't it amazing? I love it.
And when you did that, also the sun went down. Did you notice?
The sun went
The
down.
sun went- not
so
down,
I
but
have
yeah.
full power now
Over
over the
Mother
environment
Nature.
and Mother Nature.
Right.
That's the power of the gays, you see.
Oh dear. There we go.
So, the next segment that we'd like to share with you is another recipe. Yes, another recipe which we're going to be consuming on Christmas Day, and it's our parsnips in Gruyere.
Yeah.
So, over to the kitchen. Hello, it's Richard here. It's Sunday morning, and I'm going to be in the kitchen, and I'm putting together a dish for our Christmas Day meal. Now, I know we keep saying we don't celebrate Christmas, but we do have a meal on Christmas Day, and because we're vegetarian, pardon me, this cold is still going on. Because we're vegetarian, we like to try different things and different foods, different dishes. We don't stick to the same bog standard meal on Christmas Day, roast dinner without the meat. We like to vary it and try things that we fancy. But there is one dish that we do tend to cook most years because we love it, and it's parsnips in Gruyere. Pardon me, I do apologise. And it's a different way of serving parsnips, something you might like to try. And the reason we do it is because the flavour of parsnips and cheese, especially Gruyere, are really complementary and work well together. Some of you may have seen parsnips dusted in parmesan and roasted, coated in parmesan. So we know that those cheesy and parsnippy flavours go well together. This is slightly different to that because I'm using a white sauce flavoured with Gruyere cheese and a couple of other things, and I'm using parsnips which have been par cooked, so that means part cooked. I don't know why we use that expression, but we do. It's like parboiled. So they've been steamed until they're starting to go soft. They've actually been frozen, and I've got them out of the freezer. They've been defrosted, and I've made a white sauce. I'm going to show you how I put the dish together. If you haven't already seen how to make a white sauce, a roux sauce, go back and look at my video about that. The quantities of white sauce for this amount of parsnips for 2 people is around half a pint of liquid to an ounce of flour and an ounce of oil. And very quickly, a roux sauce is basically heated up oil, flour goes in, that's whisked together and cooked until it's frothy. Then you add the liquid bit by bit, cold, and you keep on whisking, and you cook that on a simmer for around 5 minutes to cook out the flour so the sauce doesn't taste of flour. And with half a pint of liquid, the sauce isn't too thick because you're going to be adding cheese, which will thicken it up. And then there'll be an additional cooking process in the oven, which again will reduce the sauce. My mouth is actually salivating thinking about this dish already. It's really delicious. So I'm going to be pouring the sauce over the parsnips, and then actually I'm not going to be cooking it today. It's going to be going back in the fridge because it will last, this dish, for a good few days in the fridge. But on Christmas morning I'll take it out and it will cook in the oven for, I would have thought, around half an hour. And the heat would probably be around 170, I would have thought, not too fierce. 170, 180 maybe. But what I would do to prevent it burning, I would cover it for the first 15 minutes of cooking and then take that foil lid or lid to the dish off so it can then brown. So there you go, parsnips in Gruyere. Follow me to the kitchen and I'm going to put the dish together. It's such an easy dish to do, and it might be something that you want to try in the future. It doesn't have to be at Christmas, of course. You know, when parsnips are in season, why not give it a go? I'm sure you'll love it. Easy to make and delicious. So there you go. Follow me into the kitchen and we'll have a look. Okay, kitchen, that way. Okay, so we're in the kitchen and I've got my lovely glossy white sauce, lump free, and that's on a low heat at the moment, just a very low heat. I've got my Gruyere and I've got my parsnips all ready to accept the lusciousness of the sauce. I'm also going to add to the sauce as a flavour some Dijon mustard. I'm going to add a good teaspoon, a good heaped teaspoon of Dijon. Excuse the noise. Now you can add some black pepper if you like. I don't tend to salt this. I find you don't need the salt. You could also add a pinch of nutmeg if you wanted to. I prefer the flavour of the parsnips and the Gruyere alone. And as you can see, it's not too thick, but it's just good. I've cubed the Gruyere because I find that cubing cheese, I don't know, it enables it to melt more steadily. I'm going to add approximately 2/3 of this to the sauce. So I'm just going to gently add those cubes. It's got a lovely nutty, nutty flavour. It's going to be quite thick as well. Oh, and just so you know, there's just over 300 grams of Gruyere. It's not cheap, Gruyere, at all. I'm reserving these cubes for on top. So keep it on a very low heat just to melt the Gruyere. Melt it gently. Cheese shouldn't be melted at a high temperature because it can split. It can split the sauce and start to go grainy, and you don't want that. So just a gentle melt. And as soon as you start to see the cheese melting, it's advisable to turn the heat off and just let the sauce, the heat of the sauce, melt the cheese. And I'm using one of these little whisks from Lakeland. These are great for making cheese sauce, especially Roux sauce. It's really melting now. Starting to go sort of stringy. And just as that starts to happen, remove the heat. It's really going thick and unctuous now. And the smell is divine. So just as it started to completely melt, we're going to use a spatula. And we're going to pour this over the parsnips. To get all of that sauce out, I'm going to have to turn around this way and do it this way now. Every little bit of that sauce out. Gorgeousness. I had a sneaky little taste then. Give it a little shake to distribute the sauce around. And then use the remainder on top. Just pop the cubes on top. To some people it might look a little anemic at the moment, but this is going to become golden brown in the cooking process. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a foil lid on it, because this dish doesn't have its own lid, this little Denby. I'm going to put a foil lid on it, let it cool, and it's going to go back in the fridge, and I'll take it out Christmas Day morning to come up to room temperature. I'm going to bake it with that foil lid for about 15 minutes on about 170, 180 fan. And then for the final 15 minutes, I'm going to let it bake at the same temperature, higher if you don't think it's browning enough, for another 15 minutes. And we'll show you at some point in the near future what it looks like before it is served. So there you go, that's parsnips in Gruyere, one of our favourite Christmas Day dishes. We hope you enjoy it. See you soon. And then, for some unknown reason, somebody placed a rusty old spike right next to the princess's bed. And when she woke up, she pricked her finger, got tetanus, and died of septicemia. Why? Well, because the NHS hadn't got access to the proper drugs after Brexit. Oh, I'm sorry, you wanted a happy ending. Oh well, life isn't like that. Now off to bed with you all. Go on. And you, Tiny Tim. Faster. I'll get you a wheel for that stick next year, if you're lucky and we can afford it. It is at this very special time of year that we turn our attention to the baby Jesus, Jesus, who was born in a mangy old manger in an old run-down stable, or possibly a budget hotel, in a foreign country where people can't speak English or Latin. It is at this very special time of year that we all have a lot of questions, lots of questions. And we may reflect or contemplate these questions, such as, who am I? Where am I? Whose house is this? Whose party is it? Is that turkey dead? Are the Teletubbies still alive? Did someone feed the baby? Is there a baby? Whose baby is it? Is it the baby Jesus? Is there cake, pudding, chocolates? Have you poured alcohol all over it? Let's eat more food. Let's eat the decorations. Let's eat the tree. Did the dog fart? Did the cat fart? Did the baby fart? Why don't advent calendars go all the way to New Year? What day is it? What time is it? Is it the day after Boxing Day? What day is that? One of the questions my family and I have been asking ourselves is, what happens next after Brexit, or Breastit as I like to call it, because it seems to be going tits up. One of the questions that I ask myself every day is, what will tomorrow bring? The world is in a very strange place at the moment. We've got a heartless, stupid woman at the helm of this country, and on the other side of the pond we've got an orange twit. Then, stuck in the middle, is a Russian gentleman who reminds me of a Terminator. And I get the feeling that we're not in Kansas anymore. There are a couple of options for the British public. Perhaps a revolution, an uprising of the common people. I'm not too sure that would work in Britain because the British are renowned for their laziness and there would probably be something good on television that night. Or we could all move to Europe. So, on Christmas Day, one should turn one's attention to those who are on their own on this day of joy. Aren't they bloody lucky? And I do wish much luck to those of you who are bombarded with swathes of uninvited guests, brandishing rubbish gifts, unhealthy food, and coma-inducing conversation. And of course, to those of you going absolutely crazy, all because a baby was born out of wedlock, and the parents decided to mess with your head by saying the baby was the son of an imaginary being called God. I bet that book became a bestseller. And finally, to the YouTube massive, you're sick and dope. And I thank you very much for following this tiny little channel here on the YouTube. So have a wonderful Christmas and a merry, merry New Year. And we hope that you're good. We hope that everything is fine for you and your family in 2019. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye. Welcome back. I don't know what's happening, but things are appearing and I feel rather weighed down with glamour. Look, icicles. Icicles, fur. And gorgeous things everywhere. Oh, I nearly breathed that in then, that fur.
You choke on it.
So, we're getting even more festive now. We're at the peak of our festiveness.
The climax?
No, we're not really actually. It's
No.
the penultimate.
Penultimate. Once we get the top out, the tails, the canes,
And do the
we
number
do
at
all
the end.
number.
Not really.
And Angela Rippon will obviously come on.
People don't know who Angela Rippon is.
They
Paul.
do know who Angela
Only
Rippon
the people
is.
from the UK would know that.
Well, they need to look up Angela Rippon.
She was a newsreader who used to do dancing as well.
She had great legs.
She did have good legs. I think they were insured.
You've got very good legs,
Have
haven't
I?
you? Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll get them out later in fishnets.
Someone did suggest that.
Someone did suggest that, but I'm afraid they will have to pay for that privilege.
5p.
Available for private functions, bar mitzvahs, birthdays and weddings. Actually,
So
that's
what
quite
did-
a good idea. We could do personal appearances for money.
So what did you do in the week after Christmas, not the year after Christmas?
What?
Well, when Christmas was over, what happened? What did you do?
You go back to work, don't you?
No, but I mean like Boxing Day. What would happen
Boxing
on
Day,
Boxing
we would
Day
go to another family.
and
We'd go
then
to
the week-
Auntie Bev or whoever.
And then the sales.
And then New Year's the
Were
day
there
after New
Boxing
Year's.
Day sales early on, or was it New Year? I think it was New Year sales, wasn't
Yeah.
it? And then it all got moved forward into Boxing Day.
Yeah, and what else? Well, it was my mum's birthday on the 2nd of January,
Right.
so we would celebrate that. And it was Claire's birthday on the 30th?
Of December.
30th of December. So, you know, those would kind of be celebrated, although Claire kind of missed out a little bit.
But Claire now has... She's
But
like
she's
the
changed
Queen.
her birthday.
She has 2 birthdays. She has one
That's right, she's moved
mid-year
it.
now.
That's
as
it.
well.
Good for you, Claire.
Yeah.
Good for you. So that's it.
I suppose
really.
it was TV, wasn't it? I mean, what
Well,
were
you
we
watched a
watching?
lot
We
of
were
television.
watching Morecambe and Wise, weren't we?
Well, you
What
were
else were
watching
we
all the regurgitated Christmas specials on repeat.
Bond films. I used to love Bond films.
You do all
I
realise.
still love Bond films.
You do all realise that this Christmas special will now be repeated until 2030. This is it. This is the only one we're doing.
Will we get repeat fees?
Well, hopefully.
We'll earn 10p a year.
Yes.
Fantastic. Yay!
So, we do hope that you've enjoyed your Christmas wherever you are.
Or are going to enjoy it.
And, well, or enjoying it in the midst of your Christmas celebrations.
Christmas festivities.
And, I've forgotten what I was going to say now. I can't remember.
Is that the cold?
This is distracting me. This thing here, this bauble. Do you like the baubles with fur on them? It's fake fur.
Faux fur.
Feathers, actually. They're feathers, aren't
Are they? Yeah, it's fake feathers.
Fake feathers.
Yeah.
So yes, have we got anything else to talk about in terms of
Well, I was
Christmassy
talking about
things?
Christmas TV of days gone by, and then you just
Lord,
ignored that. So
Christmas
yeah.
TV. Oh, everybody's glued to their television sets. Go out into the beauty.
Oh, we used to go for a walk on.
Yes.
Well, we used to go for lots of walks actually.
Get out for a walk.
Yeah.
You know,
I think all
work
the
that dinner
parents
off.
were a bit merry. Mind you, I think we were on the baby shower as well. I think we were a bit merry as well.
But only for one day. You weren't drinking baby sham as a child all throughout Christmas.
No, I must remember. I must ask cousin Tina whether we used to swap around Christmas Day and New Year's
Well,
Day.
you probably did.
I know. I can't remember whether we did do sort of one year at Auntie Phil and Uncle Len and one at ours and things. But yeah,
I tell you, it's warm wearing tinsel.
it is.
I can recommend it on a cold day.
And it's a good thing there isn't a electricity supply too close, or else we'd be sparkling quite lovely at the moment.
What do you mean electricity? Plenty of
this'll
electricity
go up.
supplies. You mean a heat source?
No, I don't. I mean electricity. If it got on here, it'd be.
How would electricity get on the
Well, if
tinsel?
I put that in the plug.
Well, yeah, it would.
I did actually. Oh no, we won't go into. I
No.
did actually put tinsel in a plug when I
Did
was a
you?
child.
Well, that was stupid,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
I had a little-
Children, if you're watching, don't
little
listen
shop.
to Paul.
No.
He's completely silly.
Don't do what I do.
No.
As a certain person in
Yes.
America says.
That's right. Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Don't stick this in.
So
there.
anyway, we're not going to ramble on any longer. We've taken enough of your time already today. Our final segment is all to do with the allotment. For those of you who want to see what vegetables Paul is going to be pulling out of the ground for our Christmas
Day.
meal. Well, for our Christmas period.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to pull all the vegetables out and
No,
eat them all on
no.
Christmas Day.
In fact, a lot of people do. I can't quite when people pull out like 16 parsnips, or they say we've harvested our parsnips. I mean, obviously they do store well, but they store better in the ground.
They will store in the
generally.
ground for
Of
quite
course,
some time.
if you have wet ground and really, really freezing ground, then you can't dig them
No.
out anyway. So,
No.
so yeah, I can understand digging
Nature's
out for a couple
larder.
of weeks. It is nature's
Nature's larder. Keep them in the ground until you need them.
Yeah.
As long as it's not completely flooded.
Or
That's
frozen.
the thing, isn't it?
Or frozen. Yeah.
You don't want
Well,
them to
you don't
rot.
want them to rot. No.
And of course, vegetables will store for quite some time. However, they start losing
Vitamins
their power,
and minerals.
don't
and
they?
things.
As soon as you pull them out of the ground and expose them to the air.
Yeah, but they don't lose it going. Pew.
No, but they start to oxidise, don't they?
They do, but the more in the cooking that happens.
Well, yes. That's why if you're making... Oh, I think one of our neighbours has just spotted us wearing...
He'll be knocking at the door soon,
Better
wanting
not
to
be.
join.
Join
Vegetables.
Join the Christmas room. Vegetables, yeah. So here we go. Here's some Christmas vegetables dancing with hats on. Not really. I'm not that good an animator yet.
No hats.
There we go. Okay.
Down at the allotment today, and we are harvesting our Christmas veg. One of the reasons we're doing it today is because there's a few things that we do with some of our veg, like our parsnips. We do them in Gruyere. So yeah, just getting on doing it now. Here are carrots. Here's one in here which is a bit exposed already. Let's take that out. Look at that. Great. Clear the leaves so I don't pull anything else out. Decent carrot. Again, this is from a no-dig bed that was on virgin grass a year ago. Let's take this one. Oh, look at that. Who wouldn't be happy with that? Okay, I'm just gonna... I think these are actually beginning to push themselves out of the soil a bit, but you know what, that's fine. Bit of broccolini here. I call it broccolini. So it's broccoli. These are the additional sprouts that have come on. There's a couple back here. There we are. Pretty happy with those. Let me just move that down a bit. Have I just seen a... Oh, I thought I'd just seen a slug, but it was my finger. Happy with those. Now on the parsnip bed, we've had some... I don't know if you can see that. There's some decent parsnips out of here already. That one's quite small, but yeah, pretty small, that one, compared to the ones we've had previously. This one looks a bit... Yeah, there's a bit of... Obviously the ones that we've already pulled are possibly the best that we're going to have. Let's pull one more. Yeah, that's too small, that one. That's too small. I think those are going to have to do for us. They're supposed to be giving me enough for two. You can see though, again, no dig. I don't know if you can see, but up to here, this is soil here. This is soil. And from here up is compost. The dark compost as opposed to the brown soil down here. So it just shows you that no dig. That must be about, I mean obviously that's not all edible, but that must be about, well, that's supposed to be a foot, about 15 inches long. The soil is maybe about 5 inches below the bed, so that's gone well into the soil. Anyway, a bit disappointing with these parsnips. Should we pull another one? Yeah, let's go over the other side. Right, let's just try this one. Oh, that's more what I expect. Yeah, okay, so again you can see this is compost, black compost, this is earth, so that's where this is the level of the soil effectively here. Anyway, yeah, that's a bit better. Okay, what are we going to get next? Want to take a turnip as well. I think that one's going to seed. Oh, that one will do. Just a little one. Is there another one? Oh, we'll take that one as well. Look at that, two turnip. Yep, happy with those. On to Brussels sprouts. Okay, so I've come to pick Brussels sprouts, and we do have some Brussels sprouts. But this one here, we're going to have the sprout top instead of Brussels sprouts. So that's terribly exciting. Look at that. That to me is the perfect sprout top. It does have some sprouts coming, but they are sort of quite small. Yep, so that's going to be our sort of cabbage, if you like, for Christmas Day. Been challenging for us sprouts this year. We normally grow our sprouts at the community gardens, and we get a really decent, we've always had really decent crops, but this year these are all pretty small. They're all under 2 foot, but you know what, that's okay. You can see how much tidying needs to go on. This is usually gone for us by this time of the year. Let's take a couple more. Okay, that will do for us on Christmas Day with the sprout top as well. Oh, lost that one. So here we are, sprout top, carrots down there, sprouts, broccolini, turnip, parsnips down there. Pretty happy with that. So that's it. That's our harvest for Christmas Day. And I must get down here between Christmas and New Year. So much to do, so much tidying. I know I've said this so many times, it's just been so busy. But you know what, for my own mental health, I need to get down here as well, because it really is a solace. Yeah, I love it so much. Anyway, on to the next segment.
Look, I've got a star on my head now. It's just sitting there precariously.
Waiting to fall off.
Because I can't get it to stay on.
Shake your head.
No, I'm not going to shake my head. So, we're at the end now. We're adorned with Christmas.
We're decked out. We've got our Christmas decks on.
We're adorned with Christmas sparkle and beauty. And I guess it's time to say goodbye.
Yeah, we hope you've enjoyed this Christmas special.
We do. Sincerely hope
if you're still watching.
If you're still watching and didn't get bored or drink too much Advocaat.
How long is this?
I have no idea.
16 hours, possibly.
I have no idea, and we do apologise profusely if it's far too long. But it's a Christmas special.
And a little bit of Christmas chat.
You almost forgot what you were
I was going to say Sunday chat. Oh.
We sincerely hope whatever you are doing this festive season, that you are enjoying it and getting the most out of it. For you, that might be being alone.
Yeah.
Watching TV.
Watching YouTube. Watching us.
And some people actually might enjoy that,
Yeah.
you know. So if you are alone watching ours, thank you so much. You're very warmly welcome.
Yeah.
And there will be plenty more bits and pieces popping up over the festive season for you to watch.
What, from us?
From us,
Oh,
including, live chats,
Sunday chat!
Sunday chats, Wily Wednesdays,
Wily Wednesday.
and a few more nuggets, I'm sure, popping up in between. So look out for them.
Vegetarian nuggets.
Well, not chicken
meaty
nuggets.
ones, no.
I meant nuggets of video.
Oh, right, okay. I thought there'd be a nugget popping up.
No.
Right.
Unless you want dancing nuggets with faces.
I'm sure there must be.
Can you imagine
Yeah, I'm
that?
sure that's on YouTube already, isn't it?
Dancing chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
We might have started a trend.
Let's hope not.
No. So I'm not going to start animating food.
No.
There's
no.
already enough rubbish on YouTube as it is.
How many videos have we done now?
Oh, we're well into 200 and something
And
now.
do they fit in with the rubbish? That's what I...
There might be a few early ones that don't hit the mark, but hey ho. So, no, we sincerely thank you very much for watching, and we're feeling rather weighed down now with
We
tinsel.
are. I feel like Mr. T.
And rather hot. So, let's...
Is it Mr. T? Yeah.
Mr. T?
In the A-Team.
Oh, you
Isn't he
mean
like-
sort of covered in gold?
No, way down.
With gold?
Yeah, it's not gold. It's silver and tinsel. There's no weight in it.
No, but
it
Mr.
is
T
quite
had
heavy.
gold
He
on,
had lots
didn't
of gold.
he?
Yeah,
Oh,
he had
God's
lots of gold.
sake.
I didn't watch that though.
Didn't you? The
No,
A-Team?
no.
I used to like the A-Team.
No, I didn't
Boy,
like
George
it.
was on the A-Team once.
I saw that one.
It was
I saw that
rubbish.
one. Yeah.
Anyway, so there we go. Say goodbye to Rudolph, everybody. Goodbye, Rudolph. We'll see you next year, perhaps, if you don't
Rudolph.
accidentally fall into the bin.
Say goodbye, Rudolph. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
That was you.
That was Rudolph.
Rudolph's not saying anything. That's rather antisocial.
You just spoilt the magic, Paul. The one bit of magic I wanted to do, you just spoilt it. So,
Have you murdered someone, pet?
not on Christmas, Paul. I don't want a Christmas murder. Well, you will, watching all those programmes that you like. He constantly watches crime drama.
Murder, She Wrote. Is they done a Christmas Murder, She
I
Wrote?
don't know, but
remember.
we're not going to
We'll have
watch
to
it.
hunt for that. One of the 1,094 episodes or something.
If you don't shut up, there'll be a Christmas murder in this house. Murder by tinsel.
Strangled.
He was found under a pile of tinsel. So yes, no, honestly, we're just saying goodbye, and
Thank you.
thank
for
you
watching.
very much for watching and subscribing and enjoying
And
our channel.
thumbs upping
and
all of that.
commenting, all of that. We're very, very grateful, and we will see you very soon. Have a wonderful festive season, whatever you're doing, and yeah, stay tuned in. Keep
Yeah.
watching.
Do keep watching.
Thank you.
Have a good Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. I can't wait to get this off. It's itching like hell.